Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Leadership Challenge show or program, where we embark on a discussion and conversation about the leadership that we have in our nation, in our institutions, in our churches, in our families, and even in the society. Last time we had such a powerful time of a wonderful discussion, and we embarked on discussing about the leader and his life, and Pastor David was with us to help us, and we are glad that Pastor David, you are together with us again. So welcome and greet us as we continue.
Hello viewers, it is good to be with you today.
Thank you so much for finding time to come. In our conversation and discussion last time, we talked about the leader's life. We talked about the leader and his family, the leader and his finances, the leader and his faith, the leader and growth. And Pastor David, I think we failed to touch on a very important aspect of the leader's life, the leader and his health. I will want you to make maybe an overview observation and say something about the leader and his health.
Thank you very much, Reverend Felix Kavoi. Indeed, that is a great topic.
Yeah.
And there is a very famous statement that is always said. And they say that if you lose your wealth,
yes,
you've lost nothing. If you lose your health, you have lost something.
Yeah.
And if you lose your character, you have lost everything.
Everything.
So you can see health is actually even far much better than wealth.
Yes.
And therefore, it is very important as leaders that we ensure that we have the perfect health.
Yes.
Because as long as you have the perfect health, you are able to work and generate money.
Yeah.
But if your health is not good, you realize that you can lose everything in your life.
Yes.
And therefore, it is very important that all our leaders take care about their health.
Yeah.
There are many ways in terms of how you can take care of your health. Right now, we are being told you need to exercise, which is very important.
Yeah.
You need to eat well.
Yes.
And there are diets that you can do, even the simple ones, which have always been taught about the balanced diet. It is something which is very important because all the three types of foods, they do something into your body.
Yeah.
So some of us, we go and take a lot of meat and we forget to take protective food, which is vitamins.
Vitamins and fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is one of the areas that many people are not doing. And it is actually critical. If you want to be steady in terms of your life, it is very important that we take care of ourselves. And especially men. I would speak to men.
Yeah.
Many times we don't even go for wellness.
Yes.
It is actually something you can go and do for 1 year, at least once in a year.
Yeah.
And you are checked whether you have anything.
That is a problem in your body.
Correct.
Yeah.
But you see, many times men will just sit and just say, I'm okay.
It's unfortunate, Pastor David, as you are speaking like that, that I met a man who just went to an hospital and he found his blood pressure had elevated almost through the roof. And this man was working and running after things, and it is simply because he never noticed when the blood pressure started to rise.
Correct.
So now it was an admission case, and the man had to park his car in the parking lot and be admitted in the hospital. So what you are saying is really very, very important. What about taking time to rest? Because I think many people, because of the demand at the place of work, and it is never easier for us here at EBN and also as a church minister. But talk something about the leader and his health, especially when it comes to time to rest.
You know, it is something also very important because you cannot keep on working throughout your life. Because there is what we call the recreation stage, that the body needs to recreate itself.
Yes.
And it is during the time of resting that at least the body is able to recreate itself. So what happens is, if we do not actually take a breather in our lives, what will happen is that we'll move too fast. All the cells are dying and there is no proper replacement. And therefore you find someone starts becoming weaker and weaker. And therefore it is important that we take time to take a breather out of all the things that we do.
Wow. Very, very outstanding and very, very amazing. It's my prayer that we'll continue talking about the health of, especially the health of men.
Yes.
Because men are leaders by default.
Yes.
When a man is born into the world, it's like man is born into leadership. And
Correct.
Everybody has very high expectation placed upon the man,
that is
the
it.
man child. We'll come and talk about that. But I believe in our program today, we are pressing seriously on the issue of leadership development. When a leader begins to deliberately seek for growth, and we found that for us to be able to help our leaders to develop themselves, you cannot go after something that you do not understand it well. And that is why we needed to come and begin to talk about especially leadership styles and leadership skills.
Yes, yes.
Some of us, we are doing things and we are messing up in leadership places because we do not understand these things very well. How can we develop our leadership styles? And how can we develop our leadership skills? And I believe they are very, very important for the leader to deliver what he is elected to do. So we go to the leadership styles. Of course, there are many leadership styles.
Very many.
But we will concern ourselves with the few that are very common, especially in this part of the world, and begin to look seriously and interrogate each one of them. And maybe for somebody viewing over there, you will be able to see my leader is using this style, but he needs to improve.
Correct.
But better still is that the leader that is watching this program will be able to see this leadership style is not the best, and they can develop themselves.
Very true.
How many leadership styles do we have, Pastor David?
Well, as you have started by saying, leadership styles are very many.
Yeah.
But there are some which are common. And for this case, because of time, I would want at least we look at the 6 leadership styles. And this is actually from the model of a gentleman called, he is an author, he is called Daniel Goleman. He has very good styles, and I feel if we can be able to cover the 6 of them, it would actually make us to be able to understand some of the styles. And as you said, there are some few styles that you'll find that sometimes you have to keep on changing them. For you to achieve the best results, you may not necessarily have to do only one style. There are so many leadership styles, and as we discuss them, people would be able to understand exactly how you can shift from one style to another. Because as we speak, is that there is always a change. The environment is turbulent. There are changes each and every other day. And now, if you do not know the styles and how to be able to balance them, what you realize that if you are consistent on only one style, there is a point you'll get to, and people who you are actually leading at that particular time are not responsive to that one single style. So it is always very good that you vary the styles depending with the circumstances and what is happening at that particular time.
Before we conclude this segment, because I can see our time is running out before we take a short break, can you mention all of them, and then when we come, we can begin to go bit by bit, and maybe you can say something about each leadership style.
So the first leadership style is what we call coercive or command.
According to the other
yes, that is Daniel Goleman. Yes. It is that coercive. And we'll be able to explain when we talk about coercive what it means. The other one is pace setting.
Pace setting.
Pace setting.
Very interesting.
Then the other one is what we call authoritative. Then there is democratic.
Then there's democratic. Those are 4.
Then there is affiliative.
Affiliative.
Yes, affiliative.
Yes.
And then the other one is actually where we talk about transactional.
Transactional style of leadership.
Yes.
Amazing styles. Please don't touch that dial. We are taking a short break. When we return, we dig deeper into this. Keep on texting to us. Let us know your thoughts and your ideas and what your say is and what your take is on the discussion that we have here today. We are coming back shortly. Welcome back, my dear viewer. We press on with the discussion of styles of leadership. And with us again is Pastor David as we tackle this important conversation. So, Pastor David, before we took our break, you listed to us 6 leadership styles according to another called Gorman. And I will want you now to lead us into digging into each one and trying to understand each one of them and maybe compare with the kind of leadership that we are seeing around us and maybe make recommendations as we continue to do discussions. Welcome.
Thank you very much. What I will do is that I may not follow them the way I have listed them. But I want to start with the one that we call coercive.
Coercive.
Leadership style.
Yes.
This is actually what we also call command.
Command.
It has a command.
Is it the same as autocratic?
It is the autocratic.
It is the autocratic.
And this is actually one of the leadership style.
Yes.
That most of the leader, they use, especially when they want to command people. They do not give people permission to think. And that is one of the downside in terms of autocratic or coercive. What happens is that they tell you, and the statement they use is that, do what I say.
Do what I say.
And this is one of the style that we have seen, even in our country, Kenya. It is one of the style that most of the leaders...
It is rampant in our country.
Very rampant.
Yes.
It's whereby most of the leaders, they don't want to hear your opinion.
And they don't care about your views.
And they don't care about it. And any moment you come up and give your opinion, you are told, keep your opinion.
Yes.
This is the direction that we are going to follow. This is exactly what we have agreed.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, what we have seen, especially on BBI, is actually coercive.
The autocratic.
It is autocratic.
Coercive style of leadership.
Yeah, it is actually, whereby there is actually several people who are bringing some issues. But you are told, if you are not comfortable, let's meet
at the ballot.
Yes,
and that is not a very good language.
It is a bad
especially when you want to pursue the unity of the country.
Correct.
Or maybe the unity of the group that you are leading.
Yes.
Or the institution that you are leading.
Yes.
I believe a leader exists for all of the group that he is leading.
That is true.
And when a leader begins to say, we can meet at the ballot box, I think that is not really a good way of leadership. And so I think by your description, I think I've recognized this leadership by what I'm seeing around us. Keep on pressing.
So some of these decisions and why people get into this leadership style, it is not supposed to really last for a very long time. Because what happens is that the people that you are leading, they get very tired with it.
So are you saying sometimes it could be advantageous?
The only time it is advantageous is when you don't have time. And you want to make a decision and it has to be made at that particular time.
And do you think that is what exactly is happening in our country, that we have our president, a wonderful man who has led this country very well for the last 8 years or so, and now the deadline is around the corner, and there is constitutional changes that need... what can you say about the whole scenario?
Now the whole scenario is actually, if, for example, you keep on prolonging the autocratic style of leadership, what happens is that you lose the value. And that's why if you look at especially what is happening currently, there is a lot of value that is lost. There is a lot of trust that is lost. And that is the danger with autocratic. It is actually something that many leaders will use, but it is not the best leadership for you to continue sustaining. And I would say some of the leaders, because of having that kind of coerciveness, what has happened is that there are some good ideas that you can get from people, but these ideas are also lost. And therefore that is actually the danger. And if it is possible, this is one of the style that we should avoid at all the time.
At all times.
It is not the very best style even in terms of the author, Daniel Goleman, he has actually explained it is not a very good style in terms of using it. But he had, when he was doing the research, he had to see some of the styles with our leaders, and that's why he brought it up. But he had to put a rider that this is not a good style. So I wouldn't actually encourage our leaders to be using, at whichever level, even at home. When we talk about this, we only don't talk about politics.
Even in our homes, unless we want to bring up rebellious children, sometimes we have to engage a different style of leadership. Rather than telling them, this is what I say and this is what I say.
Because when you put them like that, what they will do is that they will do it because there is authority. But let me tell you, and that's what happens with our children. You can actually be with our children for a long time, and you are actually that coercive leader. What will happen is that the time they will get freedom, you will lose them. Because what they will do, they will get into the things that you are saying that you should not get into. Because you did not give them a room where you can be able to negotiate or discuss. And that is the danger with autocratic style of leadership.
Because we are rushing and we want to cover as much as possible, let us look at advantages and the disadvantages of coercive style of leadership, because definitely it will do blunders, and you've mentioned some of them. So you can maybe say 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages, and then we move on.
One, the advantage of these styles of leadership, actually they may not be so many, but one of the advantage I would just cite is the fact that if you don't have time, this helps you to progress
when
forward.
You don't have time, it helps you to achieve your goals.
It helps.
Although you will have pressed some people to death. By the time you get the goals.
That is true.
Yes, that's an advantage.
So that is advantage. The disadvantages are many.
There are many. Keep on listing them.
And the disadvantages is one, is that when you do that, it makes people to be used like, they are not thinking. You remove the thinking
capacity of the people.
And when you remove that thinking capacity of the people, what will happen is that you lose out on very great things.
Ideas that can come out of the people that surround you.
So you are actually narrowed into your only thinking. Sometimes it may not be the best thinking. Because everybody has a downside and upside. So what we are saying is that if you do not allow people
to speak,
what will happen is at the end of the day, you will start implementing things. Then in the process, because you did not seek other authorities to be able to advise you, you find that you are not able to achieve the best results.
Please tell me and tell the viewers there, because I think anybody who is trying to apply this style of leadership must be thinking that he is the best in the whole world, and whatever he is saying is the best for everybody and best for himself. Don't you think it is driven and propelled by pride?
It is. That is, in fact, that is the thing. And I can give you a very good example. Because we are talking about leaders. You can get to Donald Trump. It was actually exactly what you are talking about. Sometimes you are driven by that pride. You are puffed up. And you do not want to listen to people. And you are telling them, do what I say. And arrogantly, you are actually telling them, this is the way for it to be done.
And I am the wisest amongst you.
Correct.
Which is not true.
It is not true. By the way, we have so many good brains. But if you do not allow these brains to come in, you will find that even in terms of achieving results, you actually achieve lesser than what you would have achieved if you engaged minute brains.
Do you remember in another episode of leadership show, you talked about the law of the lead, and I think this is one of the things that coercive leaders do, and they miss the best that could be available amongst the people that are leading together with them.
Actually, that is the whole thing. Because already you have locked people completely.
And you have counted your idea as the best, the one that should be Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if you are actually to open the lid a little bit,
yes,
you would realize there are some people who sleep and wake up thinking about some of the things you are struggling with.
yeah,
And therefore, if you allowed them to bring the new ideas, innovations,
Yeah.
and all that, you would find that you'll move even faster,
Yeah.
and things are going to be better, the results will be better. And that's why we are actually saying the downside of this style is
Yeah.
actually worse than anything else we can talk
It
about.
appears also this style of leadership has got very weird characteristics. And if we can begin to talk about some of the characteristics of coercive leaders, is the annoyance, the anger, they become angry so quickly.
Yes.
As please, you can say something about the characteristic of coercive leaders.
Actually, you have put it right. That inside them,
Yeah.
if they see somebody who is trying to oppose
A different idea.
a different idea,
Yeah.
they can go to whatever length. Because for them, they know how to use authority.
Yes.
And whatever is actually written on the book
Yes.
is exactly what they follow. You bring any other thing,
You are crushed.
You are crushed.
Yes.
And exactly, let me tell you, another, even in Kenya,
Yeah.
let's not go to America.
Let's not go to America. We live in Kenya and we want Kenya to change.
You see,
Yes.
when people, like in our country, Kenya, start talking about the deep state,
Yes.
what do you think they are talking about?
Oh.
They are talking about, there are some systems which actually tell you what you are going to do. There are systems which will put somebody, they may not be the best,
Yeah.
but at least they are saying, do what we say. You can have your say, but we will have our way.
Where do we get this thing in leadership? Where leaders are getting annoyed when they get ideas from people? Where do we get it from? Why should you be angry because somebody has another idea? Why don't we look for ways of fusing the ideas so that we come with something better? Why do leaders oppose other ideas other than what they have?
I would say it is more to do with selfishness.
Selfishness.
Some people, they would not want other people to succeed. And the
Yeah.
same way you said about the law of the lead. They are trying to lock people down because they do not want people to succeed.
Yeah.
And therefore, it is the personality that they would want to cling to power
Yeah.
at whichever cost.
Yeah.
And if, for example, I am not the one who is going to be in power, I have to look at the people
Yeah.
who are actually going to be like it is me who is still in leadership.
Yeah.
And therefore, anybody who has a contrary opinion,
Yes.
you will actually just crush them because you are not too sure about them. And this is what we are saying. It is being selfish because you have already done whatever you are supposed to do to your people. You should at least allow other people to bring new ideas, to be able to lead, and such kind of a thing.
So it is quite misplaced
It is
for you
misplaced.
to get angry because people have different opinions. And if you are humble enough, you will allow ideas of others and thoughts of others
Yes.
and integrate them with what you have
Yes.
and see the best thing that can come up for everybody.
That is it.
I want us to begin to see the end of this kind of leadership because I'm very interested to know how do these coercive leaders end because it's like as a person I think they will regret at some point because they will begin to look back and see how they hurt people, how they crushed people, how they went out of their way to do things they should not have done. And finally, you know, you cannot be a leader forever. A day comes when another person takes leadership. How do these coercive leaders end in their lives and in their leaderships?
Very good question.
Yes.
And I will also give you a good example.
Yes.
And let's stay here in Kenya for some time. You remember during the time of former president Daniel
President
Moi.
Moi, yeah.
And you remember there is a time
Yeah.
that he stood and he said, Uhuru Tosha.
Mm.
You remember?
Oh, that should have been 2002?
Yes.
2002.
And let me tell you,
Yeah.
people, and I looked at people at Kasarani,
Yes.
people like
A former vice president.
The former
George
prime minister.
Saitoti, yes.
And all those.
Yeah.
Even to a point that they say that there is a time when a country is bigger than an individual.
Yes.
But it was out of a lot of anger that they did that.
Yes.
But look at the aftermath.
Yes.
What happened? Was there a success in what?
It went nowhere.
It went down.
It went nowhere.
And now that is the time that these people start realizing I would rather have listened more than just telling people this is what I have decided to do and you have to follow it.
Yeah.
There is always a downfall and it is always very big.
Yeah.
And for most of the people who have tried that direction, they have never won. And therefore this brings a lot of issues and humiliation.
Wow.
So I would rather you do things light than waiting to be humiliated.
Be humiliated. And because, of course, the voter and the person who is being led is more informed than any other time in history.
Correct.
And the case that you just cited, it shows that people can rise against coercive leaders.
Yes.
And you can build a resistance simply because you want to force things to people.
Correct.
There could be an inward resistance of you, and the people can do things that surprise you.
Yes.
And especially the voters, when they think that you are dragging them away they don't want.
Correct.
And we pray for our country and we pray for better leadership. We take a short break. When we return, we press on with styles of leadership. And we will continue discussing about these styles until we feel that the society is properly informed. Remember that our rallying call is transforming your world. Don't go very far. We'll be right back. Welcome back, my dear viewer, and I want you to know that we are very interested in hearing your views and your thoughts about the topic of today, talking about the leader and his growth. Our leader can advance his leadership styles, stop using some styles that are causing problem to your area of leadership, and lead in a way that you can motivate people even to bring greater results in the area that you are leading. We have Pastor David Wamathu together with us in studio, and he has helped us to break it down, and he was dealing with coercive type of leadership, style of leadership, and we have found that it can easily bring you to a place of humiliation, especially if the masses begin to feel that you are dragging them and you are forcing things down their throat. There could be a silent resistance in the heart. You may never hear it anywhere, but then later you may regret when you see how people vote. God needs to help us. Pastor David, please help us to press on with the next style of leadership. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Reverend.
Yeah.
The next style of leadership I would want to tackle is what we call transactional.
Transactional.
And as the name, the word means,
depicts,
it is a transaction.
Yes.
Style of leadership. Again, this is common in Kenya. And I will say why it is common in Kenya.
Yeah.
When we talk about transaction,
yes,
it is where you are trying to bring some rewards to the people
that you are leading,
so that you can be able to buy or to make them to follow you.
Oh.
You are rewarding them ordinarily
to obey you.
That is what we call transactional
Okay.
style of leadership.
Please keep on explaining.
And this is actually whereby the transaction comes in because when you are a voter, people come with handouts. And they want to give you some few amounts of money so that you can vote for them.
So it is like, do this, then I will do this for you.
Yes, that's where we were saying even last time that our politics, especially in Kenya, sometimes our leaders are not voted in because of the policies and what they are able to do for us.
But they are voted in because of transactions.
The power of money.
Oh.
And that is where the challenge is.
Yes.
And that's when we talk about transaction, you are able to see it clearly. And I will also be able to show
it appears to be not a very good style of leadership.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not. And we'll actually get into it within a short time. Why it is not. And you find that sometimes we would not be doing what we are doing to the people under a normal condition. But because you want them to do something for you, you just get something that can make them to feel it's like we are buying whatever you are telling us. Some of the things, some of the policies, and even in Kenya, look at the bills. How many times you heard about sometimes back in Kenya,
the tobacco,
where the members of parliament,
the tobacco bill. Yes, there was something about the tobacco bill.
The members of parliament,
yes,
they actually started raising some issues that there are some people who are being given 10,000 Kenya shillings
to vote in a certain way.
In a toilet.
You
remember?
I heard that.
Those are transactional. Yes, it was over the news. It is transactional. What you are trying to do is ordinarily you are not sure that you would be able to win. If there was a fair ground, you are not too sure that you would be able to win. So what do you do? Is actually get to the people who have the power to vote and try to change their mind only through this dubious kind of a way. Let me call it dubious.
It's dubious, of course.
It is not good. So this is the transactions. And we have found our leaders are actually using this so much. Also, again, you heard recently. You heard about MCA.
The MCA
and the car grants.
And the car grants.
And you know, it is actually still a bit transactional. In the sense that it had not been passed earlier. But when you want them to pass something, actually you are giving in to some few demands. So
in a normal leadership setup, you are a leader, you are leading well, and you are a good leader. You will not need to apply transactional type of leadership.
You don't really need to.
Please tell us.
Because when you find that if, for example, Everett Kavoi will follow me as the leader, because I am actually giving you some few incentives to do that, it tells you that you've not bought me. What you are buying is what I am able to give to you. But if there was not what I am giving to you, then you would not follow me. Which is a very bad kind of a position because the readers, they are telling you, we don't trust what you are saying. But because we are benefiting on something,
we will keep quiet and eat what you are giving us.
But later on again, there is always some few problems. And that's where you have heard many people tell you, even when like people are just campaigning, maybe you have heard some of these statements and they keep on telling you that eat the money.
Kula kwa fulani, lakini
kula
ni kwa fulani, lakini kula ni kwa fulani.
That's the thing. So that is actually transaction. It is a transaction which is actually taking place.
Sometimes you think also it could have entered into the heads of some fathers who even coerce their own children to do what they are supposed to do, or do your homework and then I'll buy you a toy, do this. Are we really raising it, even from home, are we doing it the right way? Because children should learn to obey their parents without being promised anything. It's their duty to obey. They are supposed to obey. And their parents are good parents. They give them good things. They will obey even without being promised anything.
You are getting it like that. Because what is happening is many people are doing whatever they do for the reward they are going to get. if the reward is not there, you'll find that you'll have no society. You'll not have a community.
Yeah.
You will not have people who are actually believing in you. It is a problem. And that's exactly what you have said. For the children, they know it is my law. It is my duty.
Yeah.
This is what I am supposed to do. But because you introduced incentives and bonuses,
they will not do what they are supposed to do.
Yeah, and the next time you do not actually give them, they will tell
unless
you,
they are given something.
Yeah, even in their education.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of them, they look at you and they say, you promised.
And you
never delivered.
So they never paid attention to books.
Yes, so they are going to ask you.
I think we have come to a point where maybe now we can see some of the advantages and disadvantages. And I think maybe there will be one advantage and many countless disadvantages. And I think we can take time because we have a short time remaining. We can talk about the advantage that is there because now I don't know what we can say. But there will be at least an advantage.
There is an advantage.
But the disadvantages will be countless.
There is an advantage. And I would just want to speak about the advantage by giving a story of what we call mushroom.
Mushroom?
Yes.
Yeah.
If, for example, you want to harvest mushroom, what do? You keep them in the dark and you feed them with manure.
Oh, if you want what?
If you want mushrooms,
what
you do, you keep them in the dark and you feed them with manure.
Did you hear that? Did you really hear that? Pastor David, please press on.
So why I'm saying that
is
because this issue of transaction is where people are kept in the dark.
Oh.
They are actually not singing their own song. They are not speaking their own mind. They are actually singing and speaking another person's mind. Why? It is because they have been darkened. Even the Bible talks about it.
The Bible talks about it in the book of Romans.
Yes. Darkening. And this is where people don't have the mind of their own. And when people don't have the mind of their own, they will be fed with anything. Manure is not something very good, though it helps.
Keep them in the dark. Give them manure
and
to
you get
eat.
them. And that's what most of our leaders are doing.
So we are producing mushrooms.
Yes, and they are making sure that you are put in darkness.
That is amazing.
You are put in darkness.
Yeah.
And therefore, some of the things that these transactional leaders come and try to do for you, it is later on when you see the light.
Yeah.
Because one day the light will come. When the light comes is when you see, what did I do?
Yeah.
You realize I was kept in the dark.
Wow.
And therefore, whatever I produced is...
So the advantage is that the leader will have his way.
He will have his way.
That is the advantage that is there. The leader will have his way.
Yes.
But now the disadvantages are many.
The disadvantages are very many.
You can list one of them, but of course, I think I can suggest one.
Yes.
And then you bring the rest. I think one of the disadvantages is that a very dangerous and profitable idea can pass simply because transactions have been done. I think you can carry on from there.
That is a great one.
Yes.
And that is what is happening. That some of the ideas, some of the things that you find actually becoming popular.
Yes.
They are actually not popular. And later on, they come to affect your life. And therefore, it is a very big disadvantage because you can pass something which really didn't mean anything for you.
Yeah.
The other disadvantage with this is that when you do and you follow the transaction is where you erode your trust.
Oh,
the trust.
Oh, okay. I think that is powerful.
Yes.
So slowly by slowly, you may think that you had your way and you go smiling and jumping.
Yes.
But people will trust you less.
People will trust you less. Because you know what will happen is when things start backfiring.
Yeah.
Because they are about, they can backfire. Like the way we talked about immigration. When they start backfiring, you promised people to do this. Yet when it comes to implementation, you cannot be able to implement. And many times we say, the issue is not the strategy. Strategy can be good. It can be in the paper. The vision can be good. It can be on paper and colorful. But the issue comes when you are trying to implement what you have actually told the people.
When you are trying to take mushrooms to the grinding mill, you find that it was not maize. You cannot have flour out of it.
Correct.
Please keep on talking.
That's the thing.
Yes.
And that is one of the dangerous things, because at that particular time, people will run away from you like a plague.
Yes.
They will actually not want to listen to you.
And the people who clapped for you, they will turn and begin to talk against you.
That is the thing.
Yes.
And that's why we are saying it is good, because, can I tell you, people get enlightened after some time. And when the light shines upon their life, they start seeing this was a long move. And now that particular time, you will speak to the people and people will rebel.
Yes.
And people will actually get to a point whereby you also even cause them to have bitterness, anger within themselves, because they are saying, you misled us.
You misled us.
You did not tell us the truth.
Yes.
And when they feel that you misled them for your own advantages, they will try to do anything just to be away from you. And that you lose credibility on the people. And the people that you are following.
So for today, a leader who has used transactional methods can feel good about himself. But later he will face the wrath of the people.
Correct.
Because of what he did. Because it was not the best for the people.
That is true.
It was mushroom. It was not maize cob.
Yes, that
and
is the
people
thing.
cannot now, it's not edible anymore. Or advantageous anymore. May God help us. I think we cannot have enough time to cover some of these things. But in the Leadership Challenge show today, we covered styles of leadership, and we saw a coercive style of leadership. We looked at its characteristics, and also we saw some advantages and disadvantages of that kind of leadership. Then we talked about transactional type of leadership, which we here in studio, we feel is very rampant in our country, and many leaders want to pass anything just for the sake of passing it, but also because they know their citizens are hungry, they have no money, they are taking advantage of that and feeding them with manure and keeping them in the dark. Pastor David, what are your closing remarks about the discussion of today?
I would say that it is very important when we speak about leadership, and especially ourselves. Our conscience needs to be the driver. It is not anything else. If you feel that your conscience is not speaking to you about an issue, as a great leader, you should be able to make a decision to do the right thing. So I would always urge all our leaders, let integrity be what supports each and every move that we make.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. We must end it there. But our country is bleeding because of transactional and coercive type of leadership that we're experiencing in our country. We pray that God will help us and deliver us from these types of leaderships, so that everybody's idea can also be given an hearing and ration. Locking people out and their ideas and purporting to be the only right thinking person, it is not good, and it is not the right thing to do. We need to come to a place also as citizens of this country. We stop feeding manure. Any leader that wants to keep us in the dark and feed us with manure, we need to reject that leader and come out. Let our nation grow like the corn, like maize. You bring it out in the light, give it the right treatment, and it will give you the right product. God bless you and God keep you. We only had that time for today. When we come back next time, we will discuss the remaining 4 styles of leadership. And I believe that is where we will try to arrive at the ideal, the best style of leadership, the most advantageous style of leadership. Otherwise, the Lord bless you, and until next time, shalom, shalom.